Hello, hello, and welcome to Leading Up, where we talk about the most important things for you as a leader. Things that make your life better, things that make you lead better, and things that make you feel better. And today we are here to talk about how to make winning decisions, the best decisions for you, the best decisions for your team, the best decisions for your business and for your success. We are here to move the needle today. This is Leading Up. Did you know that the average person makes about 35,000 decisions a day? 35,000 decisions a day determine everything. It determines your life, your success, your future, your health, your finances. 35,000 decisions a day, most of which you are making on autopilot without even thinking. We are here to move the needle today and see how you can make the best decisions for yourself. What are some of the most common mistakes when it comes to making winning decisions, how you can avoid them, and how you can fine-tune your process of decision making so that you make the best decisions for yourself, for your life, for your team, and for your success.
The third mind bias that has great impact on the way you make decisions is called the authority bias. And the authority bias basically means that if an authority figure said something, your mind is going to assume that it must be true. Your mind is going to assume that because your brain wants to conserve energy and not have to think it through. So if someone that you know that is an authority figure for you said something, you're very likely to go with it. The next mind bias that I want to talk to you about that impacts your decision making is called the action bias. And the action bias is basically you assuming that you have to do something. And so when you're faced with a dilemma, the tendency is for you to say to yourself, I have to do something, even if I don't know what to do. The way this stands in the way of your decision making is that sometimes by leaning towards action before you actually figure out what is the right thing to do, you may make the wrong decision and take the wrong action course.
One of the most important things that you need to avoid when it comes to making the best decisions for yourself is decision fatigue. See, when you make 35,000 decisions a day and you try to make the best decisions that you can, and most of those decisions are made on autopilot, but there are also some very important decisions that you need to make throughout your day. You need to make those decisions in the best possible time. And a lot of times what happens to leaders is that they get to situations where they're already tired. They already made some important decisions today. And also life happened and leadership happened and curveballs happened and so many things happen. And then comes 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, end of the day, and important decisions are made without giving them the proper thought, and they're just sort of made almost on autopilot to the quickest choice that they can make. One of the most important things you need to do immediately is to take charge of the time and the space in your day that you are making for making decisions. I personally make my most important decisions in the morning. This is where I'm at my best. I would never make an important decision at the end of the day. And a lot of times, the opportunities for those decisions come my way and call me. Hey, Michelle, how about we do this and we do that? And I taught myself to just say, you know what? This is not a good time for me to think about this right now. This is not a good time for me to make that decision right now. I want to make that decision tomorrow morning when my mind is fresh. So I want you to become very mindful of when you are making decisions and what is the optimal time for you. For me, it's the morning. For you, it may be at night. Some people get very creative at night. Some people are better during the day. What is the optimal time for you to make the best decision? When are you thinking in the best capacity for you to make the best decisions for yourself? So to avoid decision fatigue, make sure to decide your most important decisions at the optimal time of the day for you and block the other parts of the day for more manual things that you're doing on autopilot. If the opportunity comes for you to make a decision at the wrong time for you, make sure to, if you can, to postpone that decision for the optimal time time for you. Another common mistake when it comes to decision making is analysis paralysis, and that happens when there are too many choices. And that happens to people in their personal lives and in leadership as well. Analysis paralysis basically means that there are different choices and you don't know what to do. And you are so stricken with anxiety over making a certain choice that you just freeze and you just don't decide. And that can happen with decisions that are decisions at the moment, and then you just don't decide. Or it can happen to people with long-term strategic decisions, and they just cannot make a decision. When you make a decision, the most important thing that you need to understand is that once you made a decision, you need to stand behind your decision. You may make the wrong choice, and that's okay. I make some great choices. I make some choices that later I say, I could have done that differently. But you have to learn to forgive yourself when you make the wrong decision and still stand behind your decision. You can change it, you can change your strategy, but if you beat yourself up over making the wrong choice, the ramification for that is going to be that the next time you need to make a decision, you'll be so scared to make that decision that you will avoid the decision. Now, I want you to understand this. When you avoid making a decision, you're actually making a decision. Lack of choice is a choice. And that's the worst choice to make, because if you did not make a decision, you're letting someone else, life, fate, circumstances, whatever, dictate to you what the choice is going to be. So maybe for a minute you've alleviated yourself from the responsibility of having to make a decision, but on the long term, what you've actually done is you gave the control over the decision to life, to fate, to other people, to circumstances. And as a leader, you do not want to do that. So the most important thing for you to do in order to avoid analysis paralysis is accept your own mistakes and don't beat yourself up. One of the best tools that I have for you in order to make winning decisions fast is called the 0 to 10 rule. I talked about it in the time management episode, and if you haven't watched that one, you really need to watch it. But it's also very useful for you as a tool in decision making. When you need to make a decision and you feel overwhelmed and you have no idea what to do, step number one is that you need to narrow down your options by eliminating what doesn't make sense to the minimum amount of options. So if you're facing 5 options, start by eliminating the ones that just don't make sense. And so you'll be left with 4 options, 3 options. At the end of the day, try to narrow it down to 2 options, because 2 options, it's still a big decision, but it's not overwhelming. And then what I want you to do is ask yourself, how right is this choice for me? And just give it a number 0 to 10. 0 meaning that it's really not a good choice at all. And 10 means that, oh my gosh, this is it. And a lot of times what you'll find is that your gut knows better than your mind, because the gut doesn't get overwhelmed. The gut knows. But the mind gets overwhelmed with too much information and anxiety. And you may be thinking, what are other people going to do or say if I make the wrong choice? And you get your head so filled up with anxiety and overwhelm, but the gut knows. And the nice thing about the 0 to 10 rule is that with the 0 to 10 rule, you appeal directly to the gut. And when you ask yourself to give it a number 0 to 10, how right is this choice for you? I want you to fully listen to what you're saying. Because if this choice is a 9 and this choice is a 6, guess what? You're going for the 9. And you know how long it's going to take you? Literally 2 seconds. Just make sure to narrow down your options, give it a number, and listen to your gut. I have some questions here that I want to share with you about decision making. And remember, if you have a question that you want to ask me about making any decision in your life, you can drop it in the comments below or email me at hello@drmichellerozen.com, and I promise to answer. We have a question here. Hi, Dr. Michelle. I am sick and tired of my own poor choices. I pick jobs that are not for me, go out with people that I don't actually want to go out with, and they're not the right people for me. I eat things and then regret them. The list is long. How do I start making better choices? Are you listening to your own gut? Are you in tune with what you really want for yourself? Because you sound so confused about what you actually want for yourself that I'm not sure that you actually paused and asked yourself, what do I really want? And you're right, it does come down to, what do I really want to eat? Who do I really want to hang out with? What do I really want to do as a career? And a lot of times this happens because of people pleasing, because you think that this is what is expected of you. You think that this is the right thing to do, but it's not what you want to do. So you can spend the rest of your life running around trying to please other people, but if you want to live your best life and you want to stop making choices that are not the right choices for you, you need to ask yourself a very simple question. And the question is, what do I really want? What do I really want in a relationship? What do I really want to eat? What do I really want to do in terms of my career? And if you really listen to yourself, your answers will guide you through. We have another great question here. Dear Dr. Michelle, I'm debating between two career choices. At this point, I've done it all. I've consulted with my friends and family. I made a chart of all the pros and cons. I've even asked my therapist, but I still don't know what to do, what to choose. I won't be able to pull this off much longer. I need to decide. I just don't know what to decide. Help. Well, help is not with me, because what I'm hearing from this is that you asked everyone. You asked your family, you asked your friends, you asked your therapist. Now you're asking me. But the answer is not with any of us. The answer is with you. And you forgot to ask the most important person. You forgot to ask yourself. So now let's drop what everyone thinks. Let's drop what I think. Let's drop what your friends think. Let's drop what your family thinks. What do you think is the right choice for you? Create quiet for yourself, to actually listen to yourself, because the hustle and bustle of going around, running around, asking people to decide for you is not the right choice for you. What do you really want? And if you're not sure, you can give it a number 0 to 10. This job or that job. What do you really want? Let's read another question together. Hi, Dr. Michelle. I'm leading a team of creative people, and I am having a very hard time navigating all these big, dramatic personalities. Some days I feel that all I do is manage conflict and motivate people, where in fact there is so much more to do. How do I manage this better, and how do I help them make better decisions and use their time and energy more wisely? I love that question because the solution is with you. You lead by example. So it sounds to me that you're very reactive to all these big personalities, and those big personalities are pulling you in different directions, and you're reacting to that. But what you actually need to do is pull back and lead. And when you pull back and lead, you set the tone for the team. And the tone for the team should be, we work together as a team. We work out our differences, because here are our goals. These are our priorities. And those priorities defined by you under the 0 to 10 rule are going to be the magnet that pulls the team forward. So if the team knows that your 3 most important things right now, the 3 10s, right? 0 out of 10, the 10s, the most important things are this, this, and this. They'll be so geared towards those goals, and they'll be so focused on the culture that you will be leading that they will follow through. Your job is not to react to all those big personalities. Your job is to set the tone and lead. Today at Leading Up, we talked about how to make winning decisions. We talked about how the average human makes about 35,000 decisions a day. Most of those decisions are on autopilot, and what you want to do as a leader is to take charge of the decisions that you make every day. We talked about how to get away from analysis paralysis. When you get so overwhelmed, then you need to narrow down the choices and then give it a number. And then we talked about how to get away from decision fatigue, which is when you might make decisions that are very important when your mind is tired and you're not at your optimal state of mind. Making the right decisions for you in your life, with your team, in your career, with your relationships, health, wellness, whatever it is, determines everything in your life. Make sure that you are using the 0 to 10 rule in order to make the best decisions for yourself. Make sure that you are making decisions that are mindful at the optimal time for you. Lead, and you'll thrive. This is Leading Up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and click the notification bell to keep up with all the new videos. Also, click on the link to watch
another video.